It has been over 2 years since Control was released, and we've spent this time exploring the depths of the oldest house. Mysteries are abundant, and will likely keep us coming back for years to come. One question that I have seen asked in the community since the game's release is regarding the fate of Doctor Casper Darling. Throughout Jesse's journey through the oldest house, the one constant we have is that everyone believes Darling has all of the answers. We chase his shadow from start to finish and never meet him face to face. Even by the end, the only contact involves a direct hotline call and a music video in the Ocean View Motel. Even with the Hiss invasion under control now, I feel locating Darling is a good move for the new director. Director Trench ran a bureau that classified everything. Only his trusted management team were privy to the bureau's secrets. Tomasi refused an HRA and was immediately taken by the Hiss. Salvador took a team into the containment sector and was overwhelmed. Trench found dead from a gunshot wound to the head. Marshall set off a bomb at the base of the nail, breaking her HRA. Every FBC agent that knew the redacted secrets are confirmed dead, except for Casper Darling. He is the last thread of the old guard left to pull. But where to look? Personally, I don't think we are ready to even know how to look, but based upon evidence throughout the game, we have a pretty good idea of what happened to Dr. Darling. There are 2 primary leads we have in investigating this mystery. The first is the hotline, when he calls Jesse during the final act of the game.
It is a phone. It's an object of power. It doesn't connect to any typical network. A direct line to the astral plane and the board. And my hypothesis is, under the right conditions, to other planes of existence as well.
Throughout the story, there have been only 5 callers on the hotline. These would be Director Trench, Helen Marshall, Alan Wake, the board, and Dr. Darling. Let's categorize these for a moment into 2 types. The first involves Jesse receiving calls from individuals who are not speaking to her directly. Trench is dead with his memories replaying on the phone. Marshall is Hiss-infected and likely trapped in her own mental prison just like Jesse was at the end of the game. Wake is in another threshold and his writings are heard over the hotline. The second category are for those speaking directly to Jesse. This includes the board that broadcasts from the Black Pyramid and gives information or makes demands. And of course, Dr. Darling giving her guidance from wherever he is located. All 5 are coming from separate realities and yet are tapping into the hotline. This proves Darling's hypothesis that under certain conditions, it can connect to other planes of existence, not just to the board. If Dr. Darling made contact through this medium, then it is conclusive evidence that he currently exists on another plane of reality. The next logical question is, what type of reality is he occupying? While this is not possible to say 100%, I do have a theory. This idea is based solely on 2 lines of dialogue from his presentations, the first from his final message.
I'm Dr. Casper Darling, and this is my final message. It's not the end. But after this, I won't. I exposed myself to Hedron resonance fully. It's changing me.
Casper confirms that exposure to Hedron is changing him. The exact nature of this change is up for speculation. However, we know it is not the end for him. After this change, he continued on in one form or another.
I'm being sent one more lesson. Something wonderful, I think.
From my perspective, these lessons being sent to Darling is a crucible. Derived from the Latin word crucibilum, it refers to a melting pot that is used to endure a high temperature. Its purpose is to contain chemical mixtures or metals. In metallurgy, raw metal such as iron ore is placed in the crucible and melted down to remove impurities and temper it into steel. In a sense, it was a vessel to purify substance through flame. Later in the 17th century, it became a figurative expression to describe a severe trial. With this in mind, let's move forward to another clue found in the large-scale HRA presentation.
I'll be there inside. Locked in. Ready to be blown away. Commencing countdown, engines. Ready for the journey. To be Bowman flying into the monolith.
It is obvious that the Remedy authors are fans of David Bowie, as this is the second time I can think of that Space Oddity is brought up. The first time is in the end credits of Alan Wake. Major Tom, the character in the song, is an astronaut who loses communication with Earth and floats into space. This idea is bounced around inside Darling's mind as he thinks about his ultimate fate. After locking himself in the Hedron chamber, he will wait until his connection to reality is severed, and he floats into the unknown. David Bowie revealed in a 2003 interview the true inspiration behind this song. This inspiration is also mentioned by Dr. Darling in the very next sentence, to be Bowman flying into the monolith. Space Oddity was inspired by Arthur C. Clarke's 2001: A Space Odyssey. Major Tom's counterpart is the character of David Bowman. For those unfamiliar with the lore of the Space Odyssey series, I'll give a brief recap. The monolith was a black slab left by an ancient alien species known as the Firstborn. While they served various individual purposes, their root function was to facilitate and monitor the evolution of species throughout the galaxy. The first of these stones was discovered by a man-ape named Moonwatcher during the Pleistocene era. This new rock began to impart knowledge to the man-apes, leading to the discovery of tools and pushing this species onto a new evolutionary path. The second monolith was found in 1999 in the moon's Tycho crater. This one acted as an alarm to notify the Firstborn humans have left Earth. This sent a signal to another monolith orbiting Jupiter. Its purpose was designed to compel humanity to continue to explore the stars. David Bowman was the mission commander of the Discovery 1 mission, and at the climax of the story, travels into the stone slab, which acts as a gateway for a specimen to enter. After a series of dreamlike experiences, what is left of Bowman changes into the Star Child, the next step in the evolutionary process. Dr. Darling says that he has been receiving lessons from Hedron, like Moonwatcher being imparted knowledge. He feels that by entering the Hedron chamber and exposing himself fully to the resonance, he will become like Bowman flying into the monolith. These comparisons make it feel as though Darling is being prepared by Hedron to elevate to another form of existence. By contacting Jesse through the hotline, the intelligence that once was Dr. Darling proves it continues to exist and is concerned with the well-being of the oldest house. The question of where he is now really depends on what type of being he was made into. Dr. Darling can be in another reality, or everywhere as an energy-based entity. Within the multiverse of this setting, there are too many possibilities to count. So unfortunately, there is no definitive answer here, only enough information to begin looking. I will leave this off by paraphrasing Arthur C. Clarke's description of the Firstborn in 3001: The Final Odyssey. Into pure energy they transformed themselves, and on 1,000 worlds, the empty shells they had discarded twitched for a while in a mindless dance of death, then crumbled into dust. Now they were the lords of the galaxy, and could rove at will among the stars, or sink like a subtle mist through the interstices of space. Though they were free at last from the tyranny of matter, they had not wholly forgotten their origin in the warm slime of a vanished sea.
Something's going to happen.
I'm being sent one more lesson.
What's going to happen?
Something
Something wonderful.
wonderful, I think.
It's wonderful.
Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please drop a like, as it really does help out the channel. If you would like updates on new uploads, feel free to subscribe or follow me on Twitter. Have a good day, and peace be with you all.